Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to Drink Read Fabio. I'm Kate Brimmer.
And I'm Sophia Kayafis, and we are your hosts.
This week, we're going to be talking about our gal, Ali Hazelwood, and her two books, The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain, because
Yeah.
she just released Love on the Brain, and it is trending everywhere and anywhere. I've seen so many people talking about it, so many people posting about it.
Yeah.
And we have finally jumped on board, and I've read both of the books, and we're going to get into it. All right, so I feel like we should start with Love Hypothesis, because that is our original girly. She is the one that blew up first and was originally a Whattpad book that became so popular that Ali Hazelwood decided to produce it, and it kind of kickstarted her career.
If you haven't read The Love Hypothesis,
Oh,
a little synopsis. It's about a girl named Olive. She's a PhD student, and she has this best friend who likes a boy that she used to date. And so her best friend is like trying to be a good friend and is like, I'm not gonna date him because I don't want to hurt your feelings. But no matter how much Olive says that it's fine, her friend doesn't want to do it. So to convince her friend that she's over him, she goes and kisses the first guy that she sees, which ends up being a professor at the school.
Whoa.
So then they have to start fake dating to kind of keep up the charade. And obviously, when does fake dating not lead to something else? So
Never.
You gotta read.
That's the whole reason there's a trope for it.
Exactly.
Love on the Brain revolves around Bea and Levi, our two protagonists, and they ended up going to college together, and Bea always thought that Levi hated her because he was kind to everybody else in their class, super friendly, but refused to be her partner in any project, refused to look at her, refused to shake her hand even, would not look at her. And Bea was just kind of like, oh, why? And once they graduated, Bea kind of hit rock bottom because her boyfriend at the time and best friend got together and kind of everything went bad. And she ended up having to take a job that she didn't really love. And she gets an offer to work for NASA as one of their head neuroscientists. But who happens to be the lead on the project? Levi.
Dun, dun, dun.
So she has to work with somebody who hates her. Winky face. And that's kind of what the story revolves around, is them having to work together and figuring out how that's going to go. And who knows what would happen.
Yeah.
You know? So if you haven't read either of these two books, pause this video, go watch our original Drink Read Fabio episode, or go listen to it, whatever you prefer, and read those books, come on back and listen in, because now we're going to get into some major spoilers and some major thoughts and opinions.
Yes.
The Love Hypothesis. Let's go. What do we love? Tell me.
Okay. So I thought that the cheesiness of it was just like macaroni and cheese, It made me warm, cozy, loved it. Loved all the vibes, everything. Loved fake dating. It was just the vibes, the energy. I was like, this is ridiculous, but I'm like, it's in the best way.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was the first thing I loved. Just love fake dating, love the vibes. Now let me tell you, we love smut, okay? What can we say? We love it, right?
I mean, look at my bookshelf.
Exactly. So
It's all that.
this book is a slow burn, and let me tell you, when it happens, it's great. And it's hard when the whole book isn't really sexual to really like nail it with the sex scene after you haven't really given us anything, because we want it so bad. You need to it needs to be good at this point. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
It's a good sex scene.
Yeah, I loved it. What about you?
So my number one fave thing was the situation, because how fun, I low-key, even though it's so illegal and so bad. I low-key love teacher-student romances because it's like
she's not his teacher,
no,
which is good.
but he's still at a higher place of power than her.
Yeah.
So it's like, and they have to sneak around a little bit, and it's like taboo. Everybody's like,
yeah,
dating. So
the tea.
love that. I love when there's a little like edge or a little like secret feelings there. So fun. And I loved the whole hotel chapter. That was my favorite.
Oh yeah, love the hotel chapter.
Basically what happens in the book, you probably already know because we told everybody else to leave.
We told all the other
to go. Non-readers. But when they get forced to share a hotel room.
Yeah. And it's like right after she had this traumatic event happen to her, and he like stands up for her, and she's like upset, and he makes her night, and they just like hang out.
Oh yeah,
it's so
cute. It's so cute, and I love close proximity. It's the best. It was.
Oh yeah.
That whole part, I was like, okay, I could stay here.
Yeah.
The whole rest of the book, like let's just stay here because this is the best. Like, I'm such a sucker for that.
Yeah, because you're like,
yes,
they have to hang out.
You're like, okay, especially because it like took so long to get any romantic feelings that weren't forced or put on by anything. It was like, hey, look over there, you should go kiss him, and she's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
They both feel it, obviously, but it's not like brought on.
It's not initiated by feelings.
Yeah.
And so it was so good.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. So let's talk about the tea.
The dislikes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, one of my problems with Ali Hazelwood now that I've read the second book, I'm going to go into more in depth because I feel like this was more of a thing in Love on the Brain. And it's not just Ali Hazelwood, but it really stands out with her books. And I'll explain. Is the big man, little small girl trope. Can we not? Why does it matter what size they are?
Yeah.
In their body or in their areas. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
No.
And I get that you can say, like, oh, movies always have a big man and a small woman. That's toxic, too. It's toxic because it makes it feel like the only people who can fall in love are attractive people. And that's just not...
Or really tall men and really small women. And
yeah.
that you can only be attractive if you are, 5 foot or 6'4". And that's
exactly.
it. Those are the only people that find love.
Exactly. And I just don't... Like, it's okay to mention it here and there, but when every descriptor is about their size, it's like... Why? Especially in books, like, I don't even really care what the character looks like. I will fall more in love with the character based on their personality.
Honestly, I want the character to have very vague descriptions on what they look like.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about me.
Exactly.
I want to think about what I look like.
I'm picturing whoever I want to picture. I am not
picturing... I don't want to have a full-on idea of who you want.
And I know this is like a fanfic, so they want it to be like, the actors.
Love Hypothesis. But who's Love on the Brain?
Both.
They're both about...
Adam Driver. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I mean, the guys look kind of the same.
That's true, I guess.
But yeah, that's just my one, thing with her that she just does. And I'm like, girly, why? And then it was hard for me to find something else that I didn't like because I really, really enjoyed this book. And it's so cheesy that it's hard to judge it because I know it's just, silly. But I did feel like there were moments where I'm like, I know this is cheesy, but this is unrealistic. Like when when they're at the presentation and she has to sit on his lap.
Oh,
I'm like,
that would never happen.
That would never happen in a million years.
At school.
You're telling me this professor is going to allow this girl
girlfriend
to sit on his lap during a school presentation?
A student?
No. That would never happen.
That was crazy.
I was like, I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's hot, but
could have been anywhere else.
Yeah, it could have been
at a
somewhere
sporting
else.
event.
Yeah.
Not a lecture at school.
Yeah. No. Why?
Why?
And I think that's something between Ali Hazelwood's girl characters is she really tries to make them quirky. And some things I'm like, that was like a pick-me girl kind of thing.
Oh.
It feels like a little bit.
A little too much.
Yeah.
Like it's a little forced.
Yeah, a little quirky forced. Those are my gripes. What about you?
So, and this is going to be controversial, but I hate Grumpy Sunshine. Like, I hate it. And Love Hypothesis, he was such a grump for so long. Like, for so long, he was so grumpy. Like, it really took until the hotel for me to be like, okay, he's a decent human being.
Yeah.
It took him so long to be a decent human being. And that was, like, my number one gripe on Love Hypothesis, was that she was so lovely and so wonderful, the character.
Mm-hmm.
Olive. And Adam was so boring and so annoying and, like, dark until the hotel. And then he, like, changed and was all of a sudden this perfect person.
Yeah.
And I was like, why?
I think he was just moody.
But it was too much for me.
I think...
It was boring. He was boring.
I don't like Grumpy Sunshine either. But I think at the point I read it, I wasn't really, like, tired of it or annoyed with it. And I don't know. I didn't mind his Grumpy Sunshine. But I usually don't like it because I'm like...
Why? Do you have to act like that?
Just be a little bit more lively.
You can be an introvert and be, like, shy into yourself and not be rude.
Yeah, and it seemed like he was kind of rude to his, like,
he was
students.
rude to everyone but her.
Like,
and
he was
she
really
was, like,
harsh on his students, and it was like, but why? Everyone likes the teacher that, like, gives you the test answers secretly.
And you can be harsh and a strict teacher and not be rude. And then my second thing was Evil Men. Her thing is, like, woo-woo women and, like, swimming in STEM, which is great, and I love that. Don't get me wrong. I love it, love it, love it. But in Love Hypothesis, I feel like certain, like, situations should not be in silly books. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because she literally almost gets, like, sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
By what's his
She
face?
does.
Yes, she gets sexually assaulted in the book. And I'm like, this is a rom-com, silly romance, and then all of a sudden you're going to throw in a really, really harsh topic that nobody's going to pick up and think there's a trigger warning
and
in
shouldn't
here.
just, like, brush it under the rug and be like, everything's fine because this boy likes me and I'm going to hang out with him.
But he stuck up for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do fire him and they do, like, take the steps necessary.
Yeah.
But it just felt like too far. There's, like, if you're going to do a silly book and you want to add in some, like, girl power and misogynistic activity, I just would say don't make it that extreme when it is coming from, like, a silly, goofy rom-com book. That's, like, my one, like, big thing where I'm like...
Because it feels like if someone had experienced something like that in the real world, that it's, like, not being taken as... I mean, it is, but, like, it kind of felt like it was brushed under the rug so easily for her.
Because, yes, exactly.
Because
like,
the guy who was one of the main... like, professors at the school...
Stuck up for her.
And
then it's not even really girl power anymore.
Yeah, it's like, well, she had a man to help her, so... But most people don't, so it's like... I don't know.
It's another unrealistic and, like, just kind of, like...
A little toxic.
Yes. A little, just, like, not the right place, not the right time. Like, there are books where that is the right place and the right time... But when it's a rom-com, I just don't feel like it's necessary to give the same point across that she could have done in a lot of other ways.
And he could have still hit on her, but it was, like, too intense.
It,
like Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Like, he kisses her, it's one thing. It's not, like, this evil, like, conniving
he, like,
moment.
whispers in her ear and
it's
is like, no one's gonna believe you.
Yeah. It's just...
it was a little
triggering.
Too much.
And that's not what you think you're gonna get when you get into a book and you have... People
no
authors need to be better about trigger warnings. Because you don't know, that might not be triggering to you, but to someone else who's going into this thing, it's going to be a fun romance.
Exactly, when this is the cover.
They're not going to be like, oh, let me just read about someone getting sexually harassed, and then in the workplace, which is a very serious topic.
Yeah, and a very triggering topic to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, that was another issue I had.
Overall,
super good, super fun.
Fun, cute.
Like, don't get us wrong, we love Ali Hazelwood.
Yes.
Like, we love her.
Very cute, very fun. If you love cheesy rom-com movies, this is, like, where
Perfect. This is, like, the bread and butter.
Yeah. It's really cute.
It's so cute. So, on to Love on the brain.
So, one of the things I really loved about this book is I feel like sometimes with romance books, it's just like the plot is just them falling in love. It's not like there's actually a story. It's just like them. And I felt like this one was really interesting because they had something they were working on and it was like a huge part of the plot. Like not them just being like, we're going to work and now we're going to talk. And like the whole book is about us falling in love. It was like through their project and the actual plot, they actually have this romance. So I really appreciated that it was like, okay, we're going to actually focus on what it is like to work in this scientific environment.
Yeah.
Not especially, I don't know. But, I mean, I've never done anything like that. So it's just interesting for me to be like, oh, I'm reading this fun romance book. But I also get to kind of, like, learn some things.
Yeah, for sure. And it also brings a new idea to romance. Like, you're not watching them fall in love while something else is happening. It's like something else is happening that is making two people fall in love.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really
it's
fun.
its own thing, which I liked. And then also, I just thought this book was really funny.
It was so funny.
It was really funny.
The jokes were good.
I thought the assistant girl.
Oh my gosh, what's her face?
Rocio.
I don't know how to say her name. She
was so funny because she was so like sarcastic and like dark humor, and it was just like so random and out of the blue. And
she like has this front that she doesn't care.
Yeah.
But she really, truly does, and you know this through her jokes, but oh my gosh, she just, like, shuts down B over and over, and it's so funny.
It's so funny, and she'll say, like, the most random things, and it's just hilarious. But one of the most memorable moments when I was reading it was when they find out that Rocio and what's her face?
The blonde chick?
Yeah.
The other assistant?
We're
who's
having
like a legally
sex
blonde person?
in the office!
On her desk.
On
her desk.
I know. I literally started laughing out loud and I was like, oh, this is so unexpected but hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I was like, this is amazing.
So funny.
And they saw it on the cameras.
I know.
And she was like, fuck it. She's like,
it felt good.
She's like, I had sex with this hot ass woman. What are you gonna do about it? And I was like, I love this. This is
all right, girl.
All right, girl, do your thing. Love it. All right, what about you?
Okay, so the characters. I love the characters so much in this one. Like, I thought they were so funny. Like, B, so cute, so fun. And I love that, and we touched on this a little bit before, but Ali Hazelwood does not write characters that are typical for rom-coms, I feel like. Her girls typically are, like, super silly, super klutzy, super quirky, and...
Well, and they're boss-ass bitches.
And they're boss-ass bitches.
Doing, like, really amazing things.
STEM work.
In, the STEM world.
And so they're just not your typical rom-com girl, which is a really nice breath of fresh air. And her humor and the different characteristics she gives them are so particular and so consistent that it really makes great separation of characters, like B being so silly and goofy and like in La La Land, and her assistant being her complete opposite. And then having Levi being like this calm and quiet guy that's like to himself, but like slowly is like really charming and silly and sweet, and then having his assistant being like this legally blonde girl. And then, you know, the guy who ends up being the villain, he's like this golden boy character, you know? She creates really specific characters that one makes it really easy to follow along, because I feel like when you introduce a lot of characters in a book, it's easy to be like, okay, wait, where am I? And this happens for me a lot in like fantasy. I'm like, okay, who's who? What's going on? And I feel like she's really good at making those distinctions. And then I loved when she stuck up for Levi when his parents came.
Yeah.
So basically, like, they had dinner with his parents, and they are like stuck up in the muds. Like, this is also another thing that's like so unrealistic, but they are army brats, and they were so mad that he didn't go into the army. And so basically they're just insulting Levi over and over and over again. Yeah. And B's like, I've had enough of this. Hello. I know I'm trying to like impress you right now, but you guys are assholes, and my boyfriend is literally leading a NASA project that's going to save lives, and like go up into space and you're not proud of him, who are you? Like, what are you doing? And I thought that was just one really cool girl boss moment because it showed that she could actually save him and help him when typically in romance books and just in, you know, tropes in general, it's the opposite of the men having to be the saviors, and she like came and saved him and was there for him, which was really cool and really sweet, and I just loved that part. I was like, yeah. I also hate it when people like treat other people like that and just like blatantly disrespect their livelihoods and what they built themselves up upon, or try to control them and tell them like,
especially parents.
Exactly, like
you're supposed to support your child
regardless,
no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a part in the hating game that's literally exactly like that. So I was like, I've kind of seen this before.
I've never read that one. So.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. This is where we're gonna disagree.
I know. I'm ready.
Okay. So, one thing that I just think there is a fine line in romance books with miscommunication and enemies to lovers, which it kind of is, kind of isn't. There's one thing that I just don't like about those kind of things is that there's a fine line with when it starts to kind of feel a little unhealthy. Because part of me is like, okay, just talk. Because I get, once they said like, oh, he didn't know that she wasn't married anymore, and also that her ex-fiance said to him like, stay away or whatever. Like, I get that he was weird. But it's like, once we've established that, let's like talk. And I know that there wouldn't be any conflict if that was the key, but like, I don't know. I just like think that when there are impressionable people reading books like this, and you have people that can't communicate, and then all of a sudden it's like, actually, everything's fine. We like each other.
It's kind of the same situation that I had about the Love Hypothesis. About having, like, situations in there and then just brushing it off.
About the, just, yeah.
It's like the same situation, just different. Yeah. Different.
And I think that the
scenario.
The problem with that is, like, these things are so, that if you aren't used to seeing healthy relationships, you wouldn't catch these things because it's a romance book. So it's like these little things where I'm like, that in my mind would not be okay coming from someone that I would want to date, and vice versa. Like, for example, okay, so I really liked it. Halfway through the book, I started going, I don't know anymore. And then the epilogue ruined it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I thought she closed it off so nice. Then she goes, okay, so now we moved in together, which is fine. And he keeps proposing to me, but I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick him up one day, spontaneously drive to the courthouse, and basically be like, we're getting married right now on my terms because I can't fathom being engaged to you because I don't trust you because of my past trauma. It's like, girl.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying.
No, go to therapy. Drive to therapy, not the courthouse. Yeah. Because also, if you have trauma about like fear of abandonment, that's not going to go away when you're married. Like,
no,
it's
now
like,
you're just going to be like, where are you all the time? And are you coming home? And
it felt like she was like locking him in. Like being like, you can't do anything to me now that we're married.
And
but
that
it's
goes against the feminism thing.
Yeah, it's like, no. I would have so much rather them just get married normally and like her be like, actually, like you've shown me what it's like to truly be loved and I can trust you.
And so excited to...
Yeah, and let's get married this way, instead of her being like, I don't know, I can't be engaged because I don't trust you, and this happened to me last time when I was engaged, that he cheated on me. It's like, no, this guy's supposed to be different. And it's okay that she's still unsure, but she shouldn't have forced him into getting married.
It almost seemed like a last-minute little joke again. Like, look at us doing something quirky again.
Yeah, she's so quirky. She's going to go get married at the courthouse randomly because they're so spontaneous and fun.
Or it would have been cute if he finally proposed one time and she was like, yes, And then he was like, but I don't want to wait. Like, I know that your past is crazy, so I want to prove to you right now that I don't want to wait and I want to marry you. And it was on his terms that he wanted to do it for her because he knows that she has these inside fears. Yeah. Even though she's willing to do it with him. Yeah. That would have been better as well.
And he still consented to it, but it's just fine. But, like, it just made me feel like, instead of facing my fears, I'm just going to avoid them.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's not healthy.
I can see that.
And, like, why are we romanticizing it?
Yeah.
What was my other thing?
Was it the tall, small thing?
Yeah, that kind of goes along with it. Like, the toxic, just, like, why are we romanticizing size?
Yeah.
Like, it literally does not matter.
No.
And there's a whole...
Size doesn't matter, guys.
Size does not matter. And also, in the sex scene, they specifically point out multiple times how he doesn't fit. I hate that. That's not important.
It's not the point.
That's not the point. And also just like like, no boy has ever made me come, but he makes me come instantly. Like,
from penetration alone.
And it's not even just this book. It's like
a lot of them.
From penetration alone. I'm like, that's
them
not realistic.
It's almost all of them.
Yeah, that's such toxic sexual experiences.
Well, I think it's also, like, the thing about these books is it's supposed to be so women positive and things, but when you say things like that, it takes away from the woman positivity when it's like the woman's being like, I've never came before and I'm 26 years old, or like, I am so small and little and I can't do anything. It's like, okay, can't we just all own up to our own orgasms and, you know, knowing that we're strong, independent women and we know how to tell a guy to make us feel good? And
like, why is it all on the guy to be like, he's like this mystical, magical human being who can make me come in 2 seconds from penetration, which is not how it happens.
And it cuts off that education that could be there where the girl maybe talks the guy through what she likes. Yeah. And that's hot too.
Yes.
That's fucking hot.
Yes. Anyway. And sex is messy. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time.
No, and I know in these books it kind of, they want it to seem that way and I want it to seem magical and perfect. But there's a way to do it without being cliche and, you know, taking, because why, again, it's like, why is the guy the one that has to make you, like, it's up to the guy to make you finish.
Yeah,
like,
and he needs to know it all.
And it's your job to make him come.
Yeah.
Huh?
It doesn't, that's not healthy and not ever really how it works.
No.
And if he's supposed to be this perfect guy that you've been making up this whole entire book, then you need to make him actually a healthy man. Yeah. That girls can look up to in romance books. It can't just be like, we just brush these little things under the rug or we try to romanticize things that aren't realistic.
Yeah. I'm going to jump off of you because one of mine is the ending.
Okay.
Because not only that ending, but the part where they, you know, are doing something great and things go bad, and the first thought is for her to be like, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm running away. The kitty thing happens, they catch the bad guy, and everything's good. They're like, yay, things are better. And then she goes to him, and he's like, I want you to move in, I want you to be with me, and she, like, gets cold feet, and she's like, no, I can't, and runs away.
Yeah.
Why? Well, that takes away everything that we had just built.
Yeah.
We had built this whole thing going together, and they had taken their, like, bad pasts and their tragedies and things like that, and that's where it really turned to me, where I was like, okay, that's a little bit toxic. Yeah. Because it'd been pretty good up until that point. Like, they both had their faults, they both did things wrong, but they kind of worked through it together, and they, like, are learning together and growing together as people, and taking their best experiences, and finding, like, new light in each other, and then she just throws it all away.
Yeah.
I was like, but what's the point? What's the point of that? There was literally no point to it. And he didn't even do anything wrong. Yeah. Neither of them did anything wrong. She was just like, it went bad, and so now I'm insecure about my science. Even though it wasn't even her fault, because the guy literally rigged it all, and they knew he rigged it all, and so frustrating. Yeah. So frustrating.
Stupid. Just talk. I hate when people just don't talk in these books. It's because they want to create drama, but I'm like...
But then create, like, an actual fight. Yeah. And not, like, if you want to create drama, create an actual fight. Not just one person being like, I'm embarrassed because my science didn't work out and I can't be together.
Yeah. Stupid.
It just, there's no reason to it.
And it's like, girl, you're better than this. Yeah. You're a badass. Like, we don't have time for you to be a little girl running away from your issues.
Yeah. I didn't like that part.
No.
The second one is kind of a funny thing. It's not enough lesbian love. I wanted more. I wanted more from the assistants. I want another book written about the assistants.
That'd be honestly hilarious.
Honestly, they were my favorite part, and I needed
They were
more
my favorite
of them.
part too.
They were so funny, and I wanted a sex scene for them. And
I just liked how opposite they were and how you knew they were gonna get together.
I know.
But she was like, I hate this girl, and then they like, and the next thing you know, they're having sex in the office, and you're like, this is hilarious.
I know, it was so funny, and I wanted more of that. I was like, can we talk about them again? Like, anytime they would leave, I'd be like,
I know, because a lot of the book was like, you hate me, and he's like, no, I don't, girl. I'm like, trying actually being really nice to you, and she's like, no, you still hate me, I know it.
I know.
Also, that part, it just felt like pick me, girl.
Oh.
You hate me, stop, I know you hate me, we're nemesises, you're my enemy. I'm like, we've already proven here that he's not.
But he's actually
really
nice.
And he's also being really nice to you. Like, he's doing so many nice things, and you're still like
when he went,
you hate me.
He went and picked her up at the, when she was locked at the cemetery.
Yes. A guy
so nice.
that hates you would not do that.
And then brought her back to his house to spend the night because she couldn't get into her apartment. I do want to give an honorable mention to their cute little web relationship. I thought that was so cute.
It was cute, but it was extremely obvious from the very beginning that it was him.
Oh, I knew it was him from the very beginning, too. But I did think it was cute.
Part of me was also like, why couldn't he just still smile at her, though? Like, he can avoid her all he wants, but he can still be nice.
I know.
Like,
he was awkward.
You can smile. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't talk to her, like, give her a little, so she knows you don't hate her. Because he gave her the bitch face all the time. She was like, he hates me. So what did you rate The Love Hypothesis?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I think I rated it a 4.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. It was cute. It was fun, but it didn't, like, blow me away like some of the books I was... And also, I have to take all of my ratings with a grain of salt because the way I was rating my romance books when I first read them, and then if I read them again for the first time now, I probably wouldn't have rated them the same. Yeah. Because I rate romance novels a lot harsher now because I've just read so many more. So it takes a lot more. We were talking about this earlier. Yeah. It takes a lot more for me to be really excited about a romance novel. Yeah. Because, you know, a lot of them are very similar and they follow kind of the same patterns and the same tropes. And when I was first reading them, I was like, oh, so exciting and new and fun. And now I'm like, okay, I get it. Let's move on. I've already read this.
I rated Love Hypothesis a 5 and I rated Love on the Brain a 3.
That's rough.
Yeah.
I rated it a 5. I loved Love on the Brain.
Yeah.
I really, really did. I thought it was so fun and so funny. And I, you know, took everything kind of with a grain of salt just because it is a silly romance novel. So I didn't really judge it too harshly just because I knew going into it that it's not going to be... It's going to be stupid and it's going to be silly. Yeah. And at the point when I was reading, I really needed that. Those are our thoughts. Yeah. Love it. That was fun.
Yeah.
I love talks like this.
And you guys tell us what you think.
Please.
Like, I feel like as women, there's a general consensus of people being tired of just these little parts in books that are just toxically unrealistic.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be unrealistic because that's why we're reading books for the most parts because we want to escape. But
let's do it in a positive light.
Yeah, positive way that doesn't ruin someone's self-esteem or view on a certain experience.
For sure.
So,
this got really deep.
Yeah, it did. It turned into a what's wrong with romance books discussion.
We love you, Ali Hazelwood.
Yes, we do love the books.
We truly loved your books.
But just change those things.
Yeah.
Thanks, girl.
Anyway,
tell us what you thought about these books. What do you think? What did you like? What did you dislike?
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and we'll see you next week on Drink Read Fabio.